place is called Camp Crystal Lake.
I haven't slept in 3 days.
We're running out of time.
At the 70-hour mark, the insomniac will begin to experience micronaps. It means you're dreaming, but you don't know it. Even if you're awake.
Why is he gonna stop? What does he want from us?
Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet.
Behind these eyes, one finds only darkness. These are the eyes of a psychopath.
Start off with one of my personal favorites, Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, the original, done by Wes Craven, when it was first actually made, it sat around for 6 years before an actual film company decided to pick it up. Reason being is that the original script was so graphic and so, well, disgusting that nobody wanted to touch it. They were scared of it, which brings us to the remake. Everybody hated this new Freddy Krueger. I, for one, loved him. I loved him as, well, just himself. Not as, oh, Robert Englund. Because, see, there's two different Freddys here. The original Freddy, you started kind of rooting for him. You kind of wanted to see what was going to happen. You were hoping that he was going to kill off every single person in these films. This new remake, though, on the other hand, you hated him. And you wanted to hate him. Because simply, well, let's be honest here, Wes Craven wrote Freddy Krueger as a child molester. And in this original film, they kind of went around it. Didn't really go too much in detail about it. Until you get to this remake, and they totally went there with it. And it kind of made you pretty uneasy about this character. So you know what, kudos to them. They did a great job on performing it, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it.
And now, we have a fun one with Halloween. Because you have people that are so far on either side of this, with Carpenter or Zombie, that I think it's important to kind of to calm down a little bit and actually look at these. Like in the first ones, the original, it's much more your classic slasher. That it really doesn't set up a whole lot, it just goes, which is awesome. But then you have Zombies. Goes much more in depth in his childhood, and you really kind of start to see Myers become who he is. And so I think it's important to maybe actually understand it not so much as a remake, but as a reimagining, where it's still very much Halloween, but it's a new kind of thing. So try not to hate so much on Zombie for doing what he did, but at the same time, we got to remember what came first.
Alright, this brings us to Friday the 13th. Now, I have some mixed feelings about this, because I love the original series. It's probably one of the best slasher films, so to speak. And on this remake, it kind of let me, I don't know, I just wanted a little bit more from it, to be honest. It picks up right off the beginning from Jason seeing his mother's head decapitated. And then he grows up to be this big, humongous monster of a beast of a man, so to speak. It goes off and, kidnaps and kills and does all the great, wonderful slasher things that we're used to. The thing that I had the most trouble with, though, is that I just didn't believe his character, so to speak. I just thought they really relied on this big, bulky guy to go around and kind of scare people, to be honest. With the other originals, I really liked it because you built up to the point of, third or fourth film where you finally get to see, Jason as himself, because he's been so distraught over seeing his mother killed. There was a lot more character development in the original rather than in this remake. Now, one thing I did like about the remake, though, is that they decided to make him, I don't know, intelligent, so to speak. You know, they had all the wires hooked up so people hit him and the little bells tingle and he went off. He knew where people were at. That's pretty smart and clever on the filmmakers' half for that new movie. So kudos for that. But overall, decent film. I wouldn't say it was one of the worst remakes I've ever seen. There's definitely been a lot worse than that. So good job for them.
And now for the most recent of these remakes, Carrie.
That's right. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this film, actually. You know, it kind of kept to the classic original film, to the fact that the script was pretty much dead on, I felt, from what we saw, but they modernized it a little bit more to fix with the times. You know, I like how they incorporate the YouTube video in it and kind of, you know, exploiting her a little bit more through YouTube and people always having smartphones and able to take pictures. So I thought they did a great job on adding that element to kind of traumatizing Carrie. Thing that I didn't really like about it, I didn't really like the mom, honestly. I felt that the mom was lacking. The original mom, they did a great job on building up that character, making her kind of that crazy, over-the-top religious person. With on this, she just was there, and all of a sudden it was in a closet. So, I don't know, it just kind of lacked for me. So, what are your thoughts, buddy?
I don't know, same thing. I mean, it really does seem, it pretty much follows this, that like, you know, you can get all upset or whatever about, you know, sometimes, oh, people change a little bit. But no, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same movie, just, you know, updating it a little bit and changing little parts here and there to kind of make it a different movie, even though it's still very much Carrie in all of Stephen King's awesomeness. But there was the one thing that I was looking forward to the entire movie that didn't happen.
Alright, that concludes this episode of Beers and Fears. I'm Brian.
And I'm David. Remember, fear never tasted so good.